All right, you asked, I'm answering. My name's Greg, and you're watching How to Play Paintball. So first and foremost, be sure to check out the description down below. There's like an email link that you can click on, so it joins the email list. And also, if you're brand new to paintball, there's a free ebook there. Even if you're not new, this is something that you can kind of get joined into, get some tips and some cool stuff down the road for you. So a quick thank you to those that submitted questions. I'm just gonna go through, this is probably gonna be a two-parter. So our first question comes from Adam Feldberg. What are some tips to improve at playing the 3? When should you fill to replace lost bodies? How to choose what lanes to shoot? When should you drop a lane or switch to shooting another lane, swapping from Dorito to Snake Side? That can kind of be tough. I know that this is not really a full answer, but it's really going to depend on the layout. So what side might be stronger? So sometimes you have maybe 3 bodies or even sometimes 4 bodies on one side and then 2, sometimes even just 1 on one side on the other, I mean. So understanding what is it that needs to be covered. So if the snake side if it's a really snake side heavy field, you want to make sure that you have eyes that way. So keeping eyes on the snake is going to be really important in a situation where the snake is super powerful. They can come down and do a lot of damage. Same goes for Dorito side. So if you're playing the 3, your job is to kind of quarterback what's happening on the field and making sure that everyone is doing their job. If someone happens to drop, it might be on you to go and switch over, but that's going to come down to knowing the layout as well. So it might be that you as the 3 or the home player have the better shot on something. You can pull someone off that job and change them to something else, and then you take over. But it really comes down to the layout. I wish that I had a more definitive, this is the answer, but like I've said before, it's chess, so it's hard to say every single time you move the bishop and go this many spots. What did they do and what is the actual field layout that is going to really dictate what you are trying to accomplish. All right, so next one is from Mark Sarfati. 3291. Mark actually asked a whole bunch of questions. I'm going to pick out just a couple of them. So my favorite non-home field, Paintball Fit comes to mind. PB Fit, it's not even necessarily the field, because there I think are nicer fields, but there's something about just how they take care of the players. I've never had a bad experience there. Every time I've gone and played at Paintball Fit in Texas, it's been fantastic. So my favorite non-home field would probably be Paintball Fit, and then Kiss, Marry, Kill, Mask, Gun, Paint. I don't even know how to answer this one. I guess I guess you kiss the paint, because you want to make sure that you're going to kiss it goodbye, I guess. Marry your gun, because you got to take care of that. And I guess that leaves killing the mask, but I don't know if I like that, because then I don't have eye protection. So put in the comments what you would say for that, by the way. So Mark, you're weird. So next up we have Uncaged Family. So they ask, I'm a bigger guy, been playing woods ball for years, just recently started branching off into speedball. I live up north, so it's pretty cold out now, so field time is at a halt. What's some at-home things I can do that'll transition into being better that doesn't involve shooting? Of course, I know working out, losing weight are viable things. Yeah, absolutely. You can actually still do snap shooting at home. I have a video on, shameless plug, there's a mirror snapshot drill that you can do that you don't use any paint, you don't use anything like that. Just doing snap shooting in a mirror is going to be really helpful, so that way your form is going to be really top notch by the time you go out with paint. The other thing would be watching videos. There is a weird thing with your brain when you are watching something that it's kind of doing the same thing. So the more footage that you can watch, find a player or a team, or just like someone that you like how they play a certain position, and watch them and study them on film and see why is it that they made a certain move, or, you know, why do you think that they got shot in a certain situation, things like that, you're going to be able to learn from. So Jacob, I'm guessing, I'm going to say Weiner, it might be Wiener. Not sure how you pronounce your last name there. 1797 asks, how do we grow the game? I think some of this is when you're at your local field, try to look for times that you can just kind of talk with people that are rec players. If they have questions, if they're watching, like, hey, is there something that I can maybe explain for you, or whatever it might be. Being a good ambassador is going to be super big for this, because ultimately, yeah, you could go and run down a rental and, you know, shoot him a bunch of times in the back of the head and, all right, great, you look cool. Not really, but that person's not going to want to come back, or the likelihood of them wanting to come back to play is going to be really low. So if you don't have those repeat people coming back, then the sport's going to die. So I think if you are at your local field and you're able to, like, something I used to do was, like, if I had another pod or two of paint, if I saw a group, like, hey, is it a birthday? Sometimes I would actually say, like, hey, who's the birthday boy or girl, and give them my gun to use for the next point. You know, usually they shoot through your loader, but if you're going to be done for the day anyway, one pot of paint, it's not the end of the world, or one loader, but that gives them an experience that they really enjoy. Maybe you can help them with, you know, if they're interested, hey, here's some tips that I can show you. But just being a good ambassador, I think, is going to be a way to help to grow the game. I think that's the biggest thing. All right, and so the last one for this one is going to be from the Meme Machine, Matt. Thank you, Matt, by the way. I've seen you a huge support, so thank you for just the long support of myself, the channel, all of that. So some of the questions that Matt had in here were kind of answered already. So I'm gonna, because he had a couple. So first one was, what was your journey to pro like, and what does it take to get to the top? Kind of just relentlessness. I just kept working at things. I wasn't really taking no for an answer. If I did hear a no, it was kind of like, okay, well, what's the next thing that I need to do? Finding people that are better than you and learning from them. Paintball, there is a lot of politics in paintball, which is kind of annoying, but when you know more people, it helps with getting in. Like, one of the reasons why I was able to get in with the ML Kings initially was because of connections that I made, and those people know, you know, the owner, they know the coach or whatever, and hey, there's a guy that has, you know, so much potential, whatever. So those are the kinds of things that will help you. So I think that even ties into another question that you had here. For those stuck at a level in their game where they can't get better, what's something that can be done to stop regression? I think being okay with making mistakes and making sure that you're always trying to kind of punch above your weight limit. So even though I've competed against, you know, the top teams and all that, it's still good for me to try to look for what are players that I know are really great. Like the other weekend, I was doing drills with Damage. So guys that have been in the game for a long time, that it's going to push me, because they're not just going to be a pushover. I'm going to really need to fight, and I need to be okay with making mistakes, because they're really going to expose what are the things that I've made mistakes with, and then that helps me later on. So have a growth mindset would definitely be something, and always try to, okay, what is it that the last time I was out here that I had an issue with? If it was snap shooting, all right, I'm gonna have a goal of, I need to hit this target this many times, or I need to win this many snapshot drill fights that we're doing. Whatever it might be, that's what you wanna have in your mindset. It's always growth. If you end up being stagnant, you're never gonna grow, and you probably will regress, like you were saying. So if you find yourself being stagnant, how is it that, what are the things that I can always improve? Because there's always something. I don't care what level you're at, there's always something you can be doing better. So that's it for the first one here. Thank you everyone for the questions. Be sure to put in the comments down below if there's something that you agree or disagree with. That's totally fine. Put that down in the comments down below. Thank you everyone for all the support, and I will see you guys in the next video. As always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.